heathens, and welcome to my channel. I am Beauty Heathen, and my channel is dedicated to the exploration of paganism through the medium of cosmetics. If you enjoy this subject matter or find my content of interest, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and set the bell to all to be notified of when I upload new videos. In today's episode, with it being Deity Wednesday and Valentine's Day week, I will be discussing the subject of the God Eros, or in the Roman Pantheon, Cupid. So, here comes the fun part. I'm going to try to use some different palettes today. I have a lot of palettes, and a lot more than I've been using on this channel at this point, so I want to try to expand out from what I've been using. We'll see how it goes. I always have the trusty So Jaded palette right down there, but we will see. Sorry, just trying to... I cover up the mirrors for two purposes. One, privacy reasons, and two, so that if I hold up the palette or it goes in frame, you don't get blinded by the light. So it's just my attempt to prevent anyone going, what the heck? So, alright. I also learned something new today. This shade of foundation is actually a combination of two shades. As always, I prep the heads with a layer of hairspray per the instructions to prevent staining. Then I lay down the NYX Professional eyeshadow base in white, and I do that mainly to try to give the shadows the best chance that they can to adhere to the head, because it can be a little touch and go at times. And the foundation is actually a combination of LA Girl Pro Coverage foundation in bronze, and as well as toast. And the reason for that is when I put down just the bronze, one would have thought I had Donald Trump's head laying right in front of me, and I don't think that's anything necessarily anybody wants right now. So that color did not work at all, especially with this head. So that is definitely a color I'm going to have to mix with other shades to get through it, because I'm not going to waste it. But yeah, that was orange. After I did all that, I laid down setting powder, and this one is a combination of the Becca Hydra Mist and the Beauty Bakery Flour settings powder, mainly because I'm starting to run out of the Becca Hydra Mist, and my order of baking powders from Ulta hasn't arrived yet when I'm recording this on Tuesday evening. So because of that, I didn't want to put, because obviously when I originally bought the setting powder from Beauty Bakery, I got it in rice because I am pale as hell, which you can tell from, the video. But obviously I didn't want to cover the face in just white powder, so I combined the two together to try to give it more of a natural finish. And, yeah, let's see. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. It's been one of those days. How are you guys doing today? I know you can't answer me back in this exact moment, but feel free to communicate and talk to me down in the comments below. I promise I don't bite, and I'm always happy to communicate with you guys. Let's see. Since we're talking about a deity, actually, I might break out that powder again. And I'm thinking, since I have the box in front of me, grabbing the lipstick I'll use for today. I'm going to start off with the Shimmer Mauve Blush. Haven't used that one yet. As always, do not look to these heads for how these cosmetics apply to human skin. These heads do not have texture, and because of that, sometimes the application of cosmetics can be a little bit touch and go. So if it doesn't work out so well, it's a reflection of the head, not the makeup. Let's see. I'm getting shimmer, but I'm not seeing any color at the moment. Let's see. Yeah, I'm getting mainly shimmer, but not color showing up yet. So let me make it match on the other side at least a little bit, and then I'll go in with a different color because it's a little bit, but it's really, really faint. Alright, I'll go in with this deeper one, which is Matte Rose Blush, just to give it a little bit more pigment. And with that, on with the show. If you mention Cupid to just about anybody, they will tell you that he is the god of love. But how much do we really know that is fact rather than fiction? In Latin, Cupid goes by two names that have different origins, but those meanings are both associated with love. One is Cupid's Roman name. One of Cupid's Roman names is Cupido. This form means desire. If we stop to think about it, regardless of our age, the people we love deeply are ones we enjoy and desire to be with as much as possible. Just trying to make sure that this blush adheres a bit. That looks a little bit better, although I got one cheek a little rosier than the other. There you go, that's a little bit more balanced, I think. Cupid's other Latin name is Amor. For students enrolled in Latin, this is one of the very first verbs, amo, that we learned to conjugate. My cousin actually took Latin when he was in high school. I did not have that benefit. I took Spanish, which I'm not trying to compare as lesser or greater by any means to Latin. It's just Latin is the base language for a lot of languages, so learning Latin frequently helps you learn others, like French, Gaelic, Italian, and so forth. Let's see, highlighter. Of course, I just put down that Ulta pack. We'll try the pink highlighter today. Hopefully it shows up pretty well. Oh yeah. Two of the major planets in our solar system bear the names of Cupid's mother, Venus, and his father, Mars. Venus being the Roman goddess of love. Her Grecian counterpart is Aphrodite. They're basically the same goddess, they just go by different names based on the culture that you're looking at. And Mars is a war god. Be proud of me, I cleaned everything, including my color switches. Mainly because if I can prevent myself washing brushes quite so fast, I'll be happy. Although Cupid is never seen when the weather conditions are exactly right, both of these planets can be seen in the sky after dark or whenever a planetarium is open to visitors. Let's see. I think because we're talking about a celestial... Yeah. I think the Makeup Revolution Constellation palette might be an appropriate one to use. There's Mars. And I don't see Venus. Damn. I see Jupiter. I don't even see Cupid here. Oh well, that's okay. We will make it work. I'm gonna try this brush. And I'm gonna go in with Asteroid as a transition shade, which is this tan color. And we'll see how this works. I've never used this palette before, so hopefully it applies okay. In Greek mythology, Cupid was known as Eros, who was portrayed as a slender young boy with wings. However, following the Hellenistic age that ended in about 31 BC, when Rome conquered Greece, he was portrayed as the chubby little boy we are most familiar with, especially around Valentine's Day. Let's see. That color does not appear to be working too well. But at the very least, I want to try to make both eyes somewhat even if I can. Again, this is not a reflection of the cosmetics. It could just be that they don't want to work very well with the heads, that's all. We're gonna try a different color. Hopefully it works better. If not, I will switch to a different palette. It's that easy. I have a lot of them. Let's try a little bit of Mars. Actually, let me not take it on this brush. Let me take it on a thinner brush because I want to try to put that in the crease. Ah, stop falling. Let's see. Well, see? That one's working pretty well. And again, as you may have noticed, I am a novice with this stuff, but I am learning, and I am evolving with time. Sorry, there's just loose powder, and every so often I have to blow it out of the way because I don't want it to mess anything else up. Let's see. There's no other real color that I want to use in this palette. So we will switch to another, at least until I get to the metallics phase. Do I want to use this one? Actually, that one's kind of pretty. I'm going to attempt the I Love Revolution palette. And is that named? It is not. It's just shade number 5. It's right there in the middle. And we will see how that works. I'm going to try to put that on the eyelid. In both Greek and Roman mythology, Cupid always had a bow and arrow, which he used to shoot the power of love wherever he wanted it to go. Some early artists pictured Cupid as being blindfolded. According to Shakespeare, the reason was because as a chubby little boy, Cupid often changed his feelings about things, especially those having to do with love. And this color does not really seem to want to work today. But in the interest of trying to keep things a little bit even, no matter what palette I go to, I try to apply the same amount of pigment, at least to each eye. Okay, so not that one today. Do I want to try Dose of Colors? How about this one? Bohemian. Not really. Let's try, for the very first time, my singular Norvina palette. And actually singular ABH palette as well. Don't yell at me in the comments. I know they're technically different. I'm gonna try this red color. I guess it's just C3. This is the Mini Pro Pigment Palette Volume 1. And I'm going to try to apply that to the lid area. We'll see how it goes. Although Cupid, hello pigment, thank you Norvina, you rock, woman. Sorry, after going through a couple of failed attempts with different palettes, it's nice when one is working better. Right, where was I? Although Cupid is portrayed with a bow and arrow, most people don't know that he actually had 2 arrows. Or perhaps one arrow with 2 very different tips. If he fired the gold one, I'm just going to try to blend this out a bit, which had a very sharp tip, the female heart where it landed was immediately filled with love and the desire to be with a certain male forever. Shakespeare's words about Cupid changing his mind apply to the blindfolded Cupid and his use of the blunt-tipped lead arrow. Whether male or female, when the lead tip struck a heart, the message was that one person in the relationship wanted to end it and be free from the other person forever, so another relationship could be started. Just trying to mute that down ever so slightly, because I'm trying to make it, I know it's not exactly you're going to make this look natural by any means or measure, but if I can mute it down just a little bit, that would be great. And I seem to have. Let's see. I want to try this little, is it a copper? Actually, that's a, looks to be a duochrome with bronze and pink. But that's not exactly what I'm going for. So let me check. Possible. Let me see if this one. There's a method to my madness. Actually, I'm going to try this enchanted color on the lid, and then I'm going to try to go in with something else on the upper section. I don't want to make a mess of it. Let me tempt this brush and see if it works okay. Hey, there we go. It's working pretty well. I'm not trying to hide the red or the pink, just trying to give like a little bit of gold over it. This is the Makeup Revolution Under Your Spell palette, and this is the color Enchanted. I'm going to try turning the head a little bit, so maybe I can do this without botching it. If an assignment gives you the opportunity to write about love, it would be interesting to interview different people, especially those who are married, to learn how many are in a relationship with the very first male or female they fell in love with. According to some writings, Cupid personally experienced the pain associated with the lead arrow as a child. According to this account, as a small boy, Cupid tried to get some honey out of a beehive and was stung in the process. Of course, the first person Cupid wanted help and comfort from was his mother. Just trying to make this a little bit even if I can. That's kind of pretty. Let me figure out a color for up here. I don't want to do a pink color. I might try this little gold color right there. And then she puts her finger in the red pigment. Only because I want to try to bring the gold up without having it be the same gold. That is a nice palette. Okay, mental note. Be sure to pick up more of Norvina's palettes. Wow. Even in today's world, when we experience pain, although lots of people around us offer help and comfort, the person we truly want to be with is our mother, because we believe nobody's help or comfort has the power of love that hers does. In one account, Cupid had a girlfriend named Psyche, and there's different accounts as to how they became lovers. One of which is that Venus was jealous of Psyche, who was mortal, and sent down her son to basically make it so that she could never find love. Because, as we so often find in the Greek and Roman mythologies, the gods and goddesses could be mighty petty bitches. And instead, Cupid fell in love with Psyche, and through different variations of the story, eventually they came to marry. In some of the myths, it is believed that the story of Psyche and Cupid actually became the reference point of how the Beauty and the Beast came to be. And it served as inspiration. Let me see if I can fix this eye just a little bit more. I will say this, if you don't have a Norvina palette, this gold shade right here is a very soft shade. So bear that in mind when you dip a brush into it. I didn't realize how soft it was until after I had already kind of dug a little too far. I'm going to try to blend this in a bit. It seems to be a little contrasted. I'm going to try digging in just a little bit into this mauve color. It has a slight shimmer to it. See if I can't kind of blend the two together. That looks a little better. That way it doesn't seem to go from a golden pink color straight into gold without any sort of blend together. So if you're a makeup artist and watching this, I'm trying, I'm learning. was gonna put that color on the lips, but now I'm rethinking it. Let me see if I can pat that gold back down into place, because I unintentionally dug it up a bit. There we go. Just trying to not let it go to waste, because if you haven't purchased a Norvina palette, they tend to be a little pricey. Okay. But as I was saying, in one account, Cupid had a girlfriend named Psyche, who led a very lonely life because none of her female friends liked her, and none of the male gods paid any attention to her, until she met Eros, Cupid. Despite the fact that they were both very lonely, according to the story, they lived happily ever after together. Ironically, I mentioned that already. Psyche, whose name means soul, is depicted as a beautiful butterfly. So that's interesting. Let me find... I'm going to attempt this brush. I'm going to use the shade Merlot from Gerard Cosmetics as the lip color for today. I'm going to try to do something a little different with it after I apply it. We shall see how it turns out. As I've said many times, you don't know until you try, right? To please her mother, Psyche was given the task of finding her way to an underworld cave, where she was to locate a special treasure box and bring it back to Venus. So this was obviously after Cupid and she had gotten married. On the way back, Psyche opened the box. Kind of reminds me of the story of Pandora. Just trying to get this somewhat even. But Psyche had opened the box because of her selfish desire to be loved and was immediately struck dead. When Cupid found her, he struck her with a golden arrow, which brought her back to life so she could become his wife. When he did this, he also turned her immortal. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I don't mess up the lipstick too much. Okay. Now, I'm going to try to brighten that up just ever so slightly, and we'll see if this works. Do I want to try the J-Cat palette? Not really. So then the other idea would be to apply some form of powder. I might try to apply some fractal to the lips. Do not dip back in with the same brush or you will get a very red silver color. Okay. Cupid and Psyche are said to have had a daughter who was given the name voluptas, meaning pleasure. So when you think of the word voluptuous, that's where it comes from. Just trying to apply the silver color just more evenly. In addition to all the Valentine's Day cards, decorations, and other things associated with February 14th, the Day of Love, several musicians have written songs about Cupid. One song in particular ended up being ranked as number 452 on the Rolling Stone list of 500 greatest songs of all time. The song was written in 1961 by R&B artist Sam Cooke. Okay, now that I've done that didn't turn out too bad. Let's see what we can do to do something a little bit different. I'm pulling out the red and black shimmer pearl powder. I've only used this one other time in a look that horribly failed. So we'll see how it goes. Come on. I don't need a lot of you, but I need some of you to come out. Okay, that should be enough. It's one of those powders that a little bit goes a long way. Actually, I might try this fluffy one for this. Since I'm talking about a deity. Oop, and she's dropping things. Try to give an all-around glow. Let's see if I can blend it a bit. It's one of those products I got off of Amazon, and I don't know the company, so I'm not going to necessarily recommend it because I don't know what's in it. It is in a foreign language. So, but when it comes to doing things like this, it can be a little bit nice to brighten up the face and make it have a bit of a glowy hue. See, it just gives like a slight sheen to the heads. I almost said to the skin. I don't know if it's showing up as well on camera as I would like. Let me try reducing the light a bit. And before I close, here's the look for today. I hope I did a somewhat decent job. When it comes to ritual work and calling upon deities and so forth, Eros and Cupid, by extension, are affiliated with Friday is the best day to work with this deity, and love magic obviously they're associated with the planet Venus. For offerings, they like silver, so maybe light a silver candle. Preferred colors obviously for these deities are red, white, and silver. Associated symbols are bow and arrow or wings, and their element rather is fire. So I hope all of that information may assist you if you so desire to call upon either Eros or Cupid, whatever you wish to call him. And anyway, I hope this episode has been informative and educational and entertaining. And of course you don't want to work. Scrolling through the non-script that I didn't use. Ironically, Cupid is affiliated with dolphins. I'm not quite sure why. If I find that information, I'll put it in a comment down below. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video and wish to have more like it, please be sure to let me know in the comments below. And before you leave, please don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell so you can stay tuned for new videos. And with all of that said, until next time, I wish you love, I wish you kindness, I wish you prosperity, I wish you joy, I wish you peace, I wish you happiness, and most of all, I wish you brightest blessings. And until next time, blessed be.